Perhaps the most important tool in Adobe Illustrator is this tool right here. It's called the Pen Tool. And of course, if we hover over any of these tools, we have a little window that comes up and it shows you what that tool is. It says pen, and it shows you a little bit on how to draw with that. So this is a very unique tool. And once we get the hang of this, we're going to spend the entire time working with the pen tool. It's important when you're designing with the pen tool that you design with a stroke and no fill. Right now you can see that we have the default colors of the white fill, but what we're going to do is click so that the white is on top. You can see the white fill is on top, and we're going to hit this none button right there. So now we have a black stroke and no fill. So this is the way the pen tool works. I'm going to go over this slowly because it is so important. We just click and move to our next spot, and we click and we move to our third spot, click, click. And so every time we do a click, it makes an anchor point and it draws the line in between those. So right now I've got a path because it has a starting point and an ending point. And in Illustrator, it's important that when you have a path, it does not have a fill. Now, once we go up here to the top and we click, you can see the lower right corner of the pen tool has a little circle. That means we are closing that path and we now have an object. Once you have an object, then we can come in here and we can double click and give that a fill. Then it also works with these, right? It works with the selection arrow, the black arrow. We can move that around. Once it's selected, we can come in here and we can change the fill color. We can double click the stroke and we can change the stroke color. Because we are connecting the dots, and each of these dots was an anchor point, right? We can come up here and we can get the white arrow. And if we click off of it so that it's not selected, we can hover over one of our anchor points. Once it lights up, then we can move that and we can reshape it this way. All right. I'm going to do that over. So I'm just going to select it with the black arrow and hit the backspace delete key twice. All right. Got the pen tool. We have no fill and we have a stroke. When you're drawing with the pen tool, here's another thing that's important. Remember, this is like cutting out construction paper. So you want to be careful not to cross the streams, as we say in the Ghostbusters. So if I'm going to draw this next line, I don't want to go out here. I don't want to cross, because that just kind of creates a confusing mess. We couldn't do that with we couldn't do that with construction paper, and it might look okay now, but later on it's going to really be hard to deal with. So let's take the black arrow and hit the backspace delete key. The other thing you might be saying is, well, what good is it to draw shapes if I can only draw, straight lines? Click, 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 drawing straight lines. Okay. The pen tool can also make curves. Again, when you're drawing with the pen tool, no fill and a stroke. And this is the way that we make curves in Illustrator with the pen tool. We do one click, we move to our next spot, press and drag. Don't let go until you have the curve that you want. Now you can see we have another line here. That extra line is a Bezier handle. And we can come up here, right? If you come here with the white arrow, you can grab that Bezier handle and change that curve a little bit. And if you click off of it, that Bezier handle disappears. Okay, select that with the black arrow and delete. Let's start over. Okay, one press, quick click, move to your second spot, press and drag, get the curve right. Now, I want to get rid of that Bezier handle so I can go any direction. Let's click the second spot again. That disappears. I can go to my third spot. I can press and drag any direction I like. Click the third anchor again, move to the fourth spot, click and press and drag. So click that again, press and drag. So we have a path. So paths do not have a fill, but if we want to continue, we can come through here. And if our last click is the same spot as our first click, and you see the little circle there, we can turn that into an object. And now we can go ahead and give that a fill. Again, with all of these little points, we can select it with the black arrow and we can rotate it. We can grab one of these anchors and we can change the shape a little bit. Of course, that's distorting it. If we don't want to distort it, we hold down the Shift key. And we can also take the white arrow, click on any of these anchor points or any of these Bezier handles and change those shapes. Now there's another shape that this little circle shows up every once in a while. If you click on an anchor, you have these little circles. You can change that. It's a little extra tool that makes things very kind of helpful in Illustrator. All right, so that is the basics of the pen tool.